be sure to use code DALT10 to get 10% off advanced GG products. Thank you. Hello everybody, so just a quick video here. As of today, episode Revenant has gone into its second act, and we've gotten access to 4 new weapons, so I'm just going to go over some roles that I think you should be on the hunt for as you're grinding through the Prison of Elders. So our first weapon is Noxious Vet Ver. This is a arc submachine gun firing at 600 RPM, and its base stats aren't the greatest by any means. If you take a look at it from our king of 600, Shiura's, it's definitely lower across the board, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, this is a seasonal activity weapon, and something like Shiura's you get from endgame PvP, so it's understandable that it's a little bit lower. But in terms of the perks are nothing that great, which is my real concern with this weapon. So the pain is okay, but it has a real issue whenever you stow it, that it takes all the stacks away. That's my biggest concern with Feel the Pain as a perk. Overall, it feels okay, but you really just have to main this SMG and can't pull out your other guns. Thresh is okay if you really want to get your supers quickly, but it's just kind of whatever. Honestly, the main perk you'd probably want to go for PvP here is Heating Up. Heating Up feels really, really good, but it's definitely nothing super crazy in my honest opinion. But the main issue is here, there isn't any crazy kill damage perks over here. Obviously you have Desperate Measures or Rampage, and both of these are okay. They can lower the time to kill to 0.7 just with 1 stacks, but I typically would want to get a little bit better. Like, I think Kill Clip is probably the better perk here, but obviously this SMG doesn't have it. So overall, I would say probably Target Lock is really what you want, because it helps out with your consistency and can lower the time to kill just a little bit on those lower resilience Guardians. So Target Lock, probably 100% the play here. And then again, probably just Heating Up. This SMG isn't anything super great. I would probably just pass on it if I were you. There are better 600s out there, and this thing doesn't really have anything super crazy going for it in terms of PvP. In terms of PvE, I'm not really going to go over it too much, but personally, just if you want to know, I'm kind of excited for it because Unrelenting and Jolted Feedback I think will be great on a certain hunter build that I use quite a bit in PvE. Then next up is probably the best gun of the lot, and that is going to be Scavengers Fate. This is a void precision range shotgun, which precision frames are definitely the best shotguns in the game right now for PvP, and this one actually has some really good perks on it, which is nice. In the first column, you have Lone Wolf or Slide Shot, which are both good. Lone Wolf to get that extra aim assist and also help out with your ADS speed, so you can just, flick on people a little bit faster with your shotty. And then Slide Shot obviously gives bonus range, reloads your gun. Always a very good perk on shotguns, especially because you're going to be sliding with shotguns a fair amount. And then in this column, Closing Time. This is the best shotgun perk in the game by far right now. Very similar to Opening Shot, just overall gets you a lot more handling, which is very important on shotguns. And overall, this is just a really, really good shotgun. The only issue with the shotgun is its base stats are definitely a little lower than its competition. If we take a look at Deadlock, it definitely is better in every category except for aim assist. We'll just flicker back and forth so you can kind of see. And then in terms of Prophet of Doom, again, pretty much better than it in every category. Not as much, but it still is better. But the thing is about this shotgun is you get it from a seasonal activity. But the issue with the other shotguns is Deadlock. You can only get 3 a week through doing comp. And if you're really unlucky, you might just never get a good one. And it's also in a different slot, so they use different primaries. So it's still worth having this, even if you have a good Deadlock. In terms of Prophet of Doom, I do think Prophet of Doom is better. So if you have a fully crafted one and you've grinded Garden, you probably don't really need to worry about this too much. But if you aren't raiding and you don't really care to get a Prophet of Doom, this is perfect. Go out and get some of these and you can very easily get a top tier shotgun without having to grind Garden. In terms of the rest of the shotgun, I would either go with Assault Mag or Accurized Round. More range is always great on a shotty. Assault Mag can help you in fights if you need a follow-up shot or go after a second person if you're trying to 1v2, whatever it may be. I would just go with Barrel Shroud. I like it for the extra handling. The stability doesn't really matter a whole lot, but nonetheless, the extra handling is amazing. And for your masterwork, again, handling or range, obviously you don't really get to pick it, whatever one you get, graced with, but both are really, really good. And overall, yeah, just a really good shotgun. Not as good as Prophet of Doom, but very easy to get, especially if you're not a raider. Then we got Red Tape. This is a stasis scout rifle firing at 200 RPM. It does have Keep Away and Lone Wolf, both great consistency perks. In terms of the second column, you have Explosive Payload, which can help flinch people a lot. Headstone's kind of a fun one for some stasis builds. If you want to have a little bit of fun, Focus Fury can really make this scout rifle go absolutely crazy if you really get used to it and use it kind of like a mini game. But overall, I'd probably just go with Explosive Payload or Headstone for stasis builds. But overall, I would just go with Explosive Payload or Headstone for stasis builds. Nothing super, super crazy with this one, but it does get at least Lone Wolf and Keep Away to help it feel that much better. Nothing super crazy on this one either. 200 RPM scouts aren't that great in the current meta, and it's probably a miss with this one as well. Then lastly, Grid Skipper is our returning Void Pulse Rifle. This is a 540 RPM, aka a rapid fire frame, and it's nothing super crazy if we're going to be honest. Its stats aren't anything too absurd, but it does have some nice perks on it. Killing Wind, Lone Wolf, Zen Moment, and Perpetual Motion are all really, really good for PvP. I think my pick there would probably be Zen Moment, just because the anti-flinch that it gives, it makes it a little bit more stable as you're hitting enemies. But I'd be definitely curious to try Lone Wolf just to see how it feels with all that extra aim assist. In terms of the second column, multi-kill clip isn't bad. It could definitely lower your TTK a little bit, which is always nice, added bonus. Head Seeker is great to help with your consistency just a little bit, as well as giving you a little more aim assist. And then Elemental Capacitor, depending on what subclass you play, is great. If you play Arc, you can just get so much handling. Even Void will get you up a huge amount of stability. So depending on what class you will like, Elemental Capacitor could be a definite play as well. And then the Origin Trait can get you a little bit more handling as well, which is definitely a welcome bonus. In terms of the rest of the Pulse Rifle, I would just go with Ricochet rounds. Then you could go with Fluted for some extra handling, or if you want some extra range and stability, you could go with Small Bore. That's a nice little balance there. And then I would just definitely go with a range masterwork if you can get it, because the range definitely is lacking a little bit on this Pulse Rifle, which is the biggest issue of these Pulse Rifles, is their range just isn't the greatest. But I think this Pulse Rifle will overall just feel really good, just because the stat package on it can be pretty good if you build into it with things like Elemental Capacitor, and even then if you don't, you could always use like a Fittings or something to help out with that low handling. Unfortunately, these rapid fire frames really suffer because Bungie almost always just gives them not the greatest stats in the world, but you can definitely make up for it, like I said, if you really try to build into it. So I think Grid Skipper is a fun one. If you like Pulse Rifles, I recommend getting one. If you don't really care for it, not really much to see here. In terms of PvP, most of them are a miss. The Scout Rifle's kind of whatever. Grid Skipper isn't the greatest thing in the world. The SMG is pretty bad if we're going to be honest. The only thing that I think you should really need to go for is the shotgun. Unless you have a Prophet of Doom, then you don't really need to care about that. But nonetheless, like I said, just a little bit of a quick video just going over some roles that you guys should be looking for. Later tonight, I should hopefully have a Hunter video coming out talking about the nerfs, and if it's not tonight, it will be tomorrow. Thank you guys so much, and you have a good rest of your day.